Real rap, yes, it's going down. Yeah, real rap.
We live on Downtown Hot Radio. I'm your host, Walil Archer, with the Real Rap Radio Show on Downtown Hot Radio. I have my special guest with me, Lee Garnett. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Good. Musical artist. So let's talk about it. How long have you been a musical artist?
Oh, man. It dates back probably to early 2010s. I mean, I was about 11, 12 years old, starting out. I downloaded, FL Studio, and I started making little beats and stuff, and I've just been teaching myself and learning little tidbits here and there for the last 8-9 years at this point.
Okay, you're from Somerset, Kentucky?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's talk about it. How's the music industry in your area?
It's growing, honestly. A few years ago, I remember back in my days, like middle school and high school, I was always kind of on the hunt for other people in the music scene, especially with kids my age. And I always found it relatively hard, especially with what I do, because, I tend to be more on the producer side of things. I like to actually make the beats for songs and record and mix and all that stuff. And that's not as common around here because, Somerset, Kentucky, we're fairly southern. So you get a lot of gospel singers, you get a lot of just very churchy kind of stuff. So it's not very common to have proper production going on. But I've noticed in the last few years, it's actually been growing a lot. I've seen some people emerging out of here. There's actually been a couple people that have been getting some pretty good airtime recently that are very talented. I've been trying my best to kind of make myself known in the scene and work with some of these people, because I believe everybody kind of feeds off of each other. It's not a free for all kind of everybody versus everybody. You really got to work together to kind of get out of the small town.
Yes. Now, being a songwriter and a producer, what does your day-to-day look like when it comes to doing your work?
Well, for me, it's definitely tricky because obviously, I'm at a scale to the point where it's not a viable means of a job or anything. So it's kind of the hardest part is working around life. I have your typical, I have a job that I work, 4 or 5 days a week. I have, college that I'm taking part in. I have responsibility. I mean, it's kind of working around that. That was especially hard, especially all through last year with all that stuff going on. And then on top of that, COVID happens. And, but when I get the chance, typically I just try to sit down and really make the most of my time. Back in the day when I didn't have all this stuff going on, I could sit here and I could make demos all day. So now what's really important is to make the most of my time. So anytime I get ideas, I try to, voice note them, write them down, whatever I can do. So that way, as soon as I get the opportunity to work on this stuff, I'll sit down and try to kind of, manifest it into a finished idea. And songs start different ways. Some of them start with a melody, or sometimes it's just kind of fishing around on a piano for some interesting chords. And with some of my more recent work, especially, it's kind of came from like sampling or experimenting, hooking a guitar amp up and pressing the chord against like a lamp or something, like something really crazy. Just trying to find interesting sounds, and sometimes I'll just build songs from nothing. But that's kind of that's the appeal of songwriting and producing to me, is kind of finding different ways to do it. It doesn't always have to be, a preconceived idea. Sometimes you kind of figure it out as you go.
All right, let's talk about Been There. We have your single. We're going to play your single for the audience. But how did you come up with the title? How long did it take you to produce, put together?
Right. So Been There came along in about December of last year. This was right around the time I had just decided I wanted to make an album, which would be my biggest project. I remember I was listening to a James Blake song. I believe it was called "Where's the Catch." It's featuring Andre 3000. Incredible song. And I was listening to it, and I was really vibing with that kind of thing. So I wanted to get something in that kind of realm. So I was playing around with some sampled piano stuff, and I ended up coming up with the original demo for it. And it kind of sat for a while just as that. It didn't really have any lyrics or anything. And it wasn't until a little later into the process of actually making the album that once the storyline of everything kind of started coming together, I figured out what the song was about, which the song is kind of just about, the boring monotony of daily repetition, getting up, going to your 9 to 5, doing the dishes, brushing, like just the whole repetition of it, which is really what I was kind of feeling at the time. And I think especially a lot of people are feeling now with, all this quarantine stuff. So I knew right away though, that this was going to be the first single. I feel like this kind of embodied how I feel right now, how the album sounds. And, it features a rapper named Tay Edwards. Dude's incredibly talented. He took the song to a whole different level. This is my first time actually having a rap feature on a song. And I feel like he really nailed down kind of the whole message of it. So it's just really a good embodiment of where I was at during this time, where I think a lot of people were at. And musically, it's more pop than I've ever gone. I think it was just kind of an obvious choice as a first single.
Nice. So we're going to play Been There, and then when we come back, we talk more about it. Sound good?
Sound good, man.
All right, so we'll be right back on Downtown Hot Radio, Been There.
I wake up in a mold I made, suit on, all living no play, and I don't really know why, I don't really know why I changed. Got a roof and food on my plate, feeling good, no panic, no pain. Lately I feel like I don't wanna feel like every bone I break, every smile I fake, every step I take, I've already been there.
Same whack events and holidays coming back around like a hula hoop. Swear I lost taste a long time ago. I hate food. Everything I see brings dread. I even hate you. I don't even know you, but I'm pretty sure you all the same. I done seen it all before. Neither time was I entertained. Disappointed in this life. Go to war in my mind. Losing the will to fight. It feels like a waste of time. And with every breath that I take, I'm starting to realize every bone I break, every smile I fake, every step I take, I've already been there. Every home I made, every night awake, everything I say, I've already been there. Same shit in my head. Same shit in my head. Same shit in my head. Same shit in my head.
listening to Downtown Hot Radio. Be the 10th caller at 610-70-RADIO. That's 610-707-2346 for this hour's giveaway.
They always hook me up. They're always giving away cool prizes.
And good luck from Downtown Hot Radio. If you're looking for that special boudoir picture, call Walil Archer Photography. 215-GO-WALIL. That's 215-469-2545. It's perfect for the anniversary or birthday gift, modeling portfolio, or media shots. Call Walil Archer. 215-GO-WALIL. Or or email WililArcher@yahoo.com.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood from Cheryl Underwood Radio, and you're now listening to the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer.
Walil Archer is now buying commercial and residential properties in the Southeast region, servicing Charlotte, Atlanta, and Orlando. If you have a property for sale, call 215-469-2545 or email WililArcher@yahoo.com.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood from Cheryl Underwood Radio, and I listen to Downtown Hot Radio.
Yo, check this out. You are now tuned in
to the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer. Download the mobile app and follow us on all social media. Catch past episodes on podcasts and TuneIn Radio. To be a guest, call 610-707-2346. Email at WililArcher@yahoo.com. And for more information, go to downtownhotradio.com. Walil Archer Photography is looking for beautiful models for boudoir motorcycle photo shoots. Models, this is your casting call. Call us at 215-469-2545. That's 215-469-2545 to be featured on a boudoir motorcycle photo shoot by photographer Walil Archer. 215-469-2545. Or if you're looking to get a shoot of your bike, we'll make it happen. Call 215-469-2545.
Hi, this is Miss Truth from Atlanta, Georgia, and you are now listening to the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer.
We back on Downtown Hot Radio. I'm your host, Walil Archer, with the Real Rap Radio Show on Downtown Hot Radio. Got Lee Garnett on the phone again. Welcome back.
How's it going?
Hey, behind the scene, I was talking about how sharp, how on point you are, so I have to let the listeners know this man is very, very, very professional. Very professional. Audio's clear, music great. Did y'all love that track? He's up and coming, and he's gonna do a phenomenal job. I really appreciate you giving me the time to interview you. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate that, man. They're very kind.
Now, what are some of your inspirations? What keep you motivated?
Well, if you're talking about as far as like musical inspirations, it's definitely shifted a lot recently. Growing up, I was a big fan of like, and it's probably very corny, and I'll probably get some flack for it, but I loved like Coldplay, like Imagine Dragons, like One Republic, like that whole scene. I was totally into like the 2000s, 2010s, like pop rock. But with this album, when I started working on these songs this last year, I kind of found myself getting into a much more niche kind of scene. I started getting into, it started with like Bon Iver. I just really loved the rawness of his music. You know, at first it was a bit off-putting, you know, because I listened to it and I was just like, this sounds horrible. You know, this is not recorded very well. Like, but then it took me a little bit to realize that was kind of the beauty in it, was the imperfection. And that evolved into getting into like James Blake. He kind of reintroduced me to the electronic music that I had kind of strayed away from over the last decade. Kanye, you know, kind of came into the scene a little bit, and, you know, the kind of his whole extravagance, you know, and just willingness to be out there was really appealing. And probably Radiohead as well, you know, just because they're Radiohead, you know, they're incredible at pretty much anything they do at this point. I think they've made their mark on the music scene by this point. So there's a lot of different musical inspirations, and they all kind of made their way into these projects in their own way. Man
behind the new album. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, the album is called One Foot on a Moving Train, which is an unacceptably long title, but it's all got a story behind it. It's supposed to come out. It's coming out February 19th, which is next Friday. It's got 7 tracks on it. I've spent the last year and a half or so working on it, and it's probably my most experimental work to date. Not to say that it's inaccessible in any way, but I was really diligent to try and create some new sounds. You know, in the past with EPs or singles or whatever, I feel like in a way I was always trying to kind of embody whatever I was taking in. So if I was really into this artist this month, I was like, I want to try something like that, you know? And, you know, it would work relatively successfully, but at the end of the day, you know, I was never really finding my own pathway. You know, I was kind of just trying to manifest whatever I was listening to at the time, and, you know, I would never really hone in a sound. So my goal this time around was to really embrace my own my own aesthetic. So I kind of reintroduced electronics back into the scene, which I had kind of strayed away from over the last few years, because I started out making electronic music back in the day. So it was kind of going back to that old palette in a sense with the new knowledge I had gained over the years with music and trying some new stuff. So this time around, instead of just pianos and guitars and strings or, whatever, it was, sitting down and sampling other songs, sampling my own demos, trying really interesting vocals, some a cappella stuff, just whatever I could do to possibly create new sounds. And what ended up coming out of a result of that is, 7 tracks they're all unique in their own way. They all fit this kind of electronic dark aesthetic, but they all kind of stand out in their own way and tell a different part of the story. Which it is a concept record. The whole album is kind of about feeling a bit, I guess, isolated from the world and wanting to escape it. Because during a lot of the album, it was just kind of waking up every day and going to work, and just, kind of what Been There is actually about, just the daily routines and monotony of kind of going through that. So a lot of the album is kind of dealing with wanting to escape from it, whether that be like in a literal sense and like, I just want to pack my bags, quit my job and drive, across the country and get away from this. Some of it has to deal with like suicidal ideation. Some of it is more just kind of a mental, like I just want to like close my eyes and just zone out from this. But one way or another, it all kind of deals with wanting to escape. And there's actually a song at the end of the album called The Station, which is somewhat based on a true story. It's kind of, evolved into its own thing to fit the album. But essentially, it kind of tells a story of somebody who they finally hit their breaking point. They drive away, they go to a station, get their ticket, they're halfway on the train, and they kind of hesitate and look back, at the city behind them and like, what am I doing here? Like, am I going to finally do it and leave? Or am I leaving behind something good here? Am I just like totally out of it right now? And that's where the album title comes from, is One Foot on a Moving Train. Because in a way, that's kind of how I felt throughout a lot of late 2019 and 2020, I was kind of 1 foot out the door really on just wanting to leave everything. So that's kind of what the album is. It's an interesting combination, having such a personal meaning to it, and that kind of being countered by this really in your face, like experimental sound design. But I don't know. I think it's carved its own path for sure.
All right, Lee, I got a fun fact question for you.
Okay.
At 19 years old, how did you get so much knowledge and wisdom?
I don't know how to answer that question, man. I think I just fake it till you make it, you got to sound like you know what you're talking about.
No, you definitely know what you're talking about. And you know what you're doing. See, that's a combination that most people don't craft at 19 years of age.
I mean, I feel like it's not as much about knowing anything, because, I'm obviously very early into my career. There's a lot I don't know. I think more than anything, it's just being genuine about your passion with it. I don't do it for any other reason than genuinely because I enjoy making music. So I don't know. I guess maybe in a way that kind of contributes to it sounding better than what it is. But I appreciate that, man. Though that means a lot.
Funny thing is, you just answered it. It's your passion. That's the answer. It's your passion, and it shows.
That's it. That's the answer to everything, man. It's just like what you do or what a painter does or a filmmaker. It's if you're in it for any other reason than the passion and the love for it, you're in it for the wrong reason.
Now, where can they find your music at on social media and SoundCloud or wherever you have your music for sale for the listeners to grab a copy?
Probably the easiest way just to find any kind of links to my social media or streaming platforms. You can just go to linktree.com/Lee Garrett. I'm constantly updating everything there with new content. Everything, all my music is on Spotify. It's on Apple Music, Amazon Music, and whatever other, they're like YouTube Music. I think it's on TikTok too, which is kind of wild to me. I never considered anything being on TikTok. It's really on all the major platforms. So whatever you listen to, there's a chance it's right there. You just look up Lee Garrett. Been There is out now. You can listen to it. The album comes out next week. I'll be posting little teasers if you go to my YouTube page, which can be found on my Linktree. I'm going to be posting some behind the scenes stuff of making the album throughout the process. I was kind of filming myself making it. So that'll be up. I'll have like studio tours. I'll probably have some more music videos, album visuals. So there'll be all kinds of content coming out.
I think you should consider being a mentor, believe it or not. And I just always like to give credit and encouragement where I can. So with that being said, obviously you're efficient with social media. So let the new artists or up and coming artists or people that doesn't say take and utilize social media. Let's talk about social media before we let you go. You say everything, you keep it updated, so that's important. And then you say you're on all social media platforms, and you now on TikTok, doing it on TikTok. So let's start with TikTok. Let's talk about your experience with building your brand on TikTok.
Right. Okay. So, well, TikTok's pretty new to me. I think I've come a little late to the scene. I'm probably the most old young person you'll ever meet with social media. I mean, in general, social media is not something I've done a whole lot in the past. I've remained relatively quiet. And partially that's just because I'm a big fan of, people kind of mysteriously disappearing for a little while between projects, because when you come back, it kind of makes it seem a lot more grandiose, I guess. But the TikTok thing, that's actually really interesting, because me and my buddy who co-wrote and produced a lot of the album with me, we're trying to figure out should we try to start a TikTok dance trend with Ben there, because we haven't actually filmed anything, but we had an idea for the music video that it was going to be kind of dressed up in your suit and tie and just daily routine kind of stuff. Wake up, brush your teeth, make some eggs, go to work, and all that countered with this almost party song. So we were what if instead of a music video, what if we turn that into the TikTok trend? It's have people with the party filter on, just doing really boring everyday stuff to the drop of the song. That'd be kind of funny. So I don't know if we'll try to encourage that or not. It's one of those things. TikTok is just, it's so random, man. You never know what's going to become big on there. But I think that is the most effective modern way of blowing up. 10 years ago, it was YouTube. You Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes, all these people, they just randomly blow up on YouTube. Vine, I think, created a few stars. So I think TikTok may be the new way. I mean, I think Old Town Road came from TikTok. There was a few other rappers, I think, that kind of got their start on there. So who knows, man? That may be the break, is on TikTok.
Cool advice. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
I think I mean, I said what I want to say, man. You're fantastic at what you do. You asked all the right questions. I'm excited for the album to come out. It comes out February 19th on all platforms. I had a lot of fun making it. I had a lot of fun doing the promo. I had a good time talking to you, man. You killed it. You did everything. You do your job very well.
Well, I appreciate that, sir. So hold on for 1 second, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go to a commercial break on Downtown Hot Radio. I'm going to give you guys Been There again so you can enjoy the track one more time. I'll be back on Downtown Hot Radio.
I wake up in a mold I made, suit on, all living no play, and I don't really know why, I don't really know why I changed. Got a roof and food on my plate, feeling good, no panic, no pain. Lately I feel like I don't wanna feel like every bone I break, every smile I fake, every step I take, I've already been there.
Events and holidays coming back around like a hula hoop. Swear I lost taste a long time ago. I hate food. Everything I see brings dread. I even hate you. I don't even know you, but I'm pretty sure you are the same. I done seen it all before. Neither time was I entertained. Disappointed in this life. Go to war in my mind. Losing the will to fight. It feels like a waste of time. And with every breath that I take, I'm starting to realize every bone I break.
y'all, this your girl Cheryl Underwood from Cheryl Underwood Radio, and you're now listening to the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer.
Hey, I'm back on Downtown Hot Radio. I'm your host, Walil Archer, with the Real Rap Radio Show on Downtown Hot Radio. Was my guest awesome? That's all I like to ask. Was my guest awesome? And he's 19 years old. Imagine that. So be sure to follow him on all social media. Lee Garnett, he's up and coming. And when I say up and coming, I don't get excited about a lot of guests. But he had everything from start to finish. Perfect. So any of my inspiring artists, because I have a lot of different listeners, different age brackets, up and coming, I want you guys to take pointers, be on time. He's very prompt, clean music, awesome music, and very professional, articulated, spoke well. So I want everyone to really focus on that, because I get a lot of inbox messages, a lot of people wanting me to mentor them, and I just don't have the time. But take from him in that interview, because that was an amazing job, great music. So with that being said, I want to remind you guys to follow me on all social media, Walil Archer. Download the mobile app, Downtown Hot Radio, and follow Downtown Hot Radio on all social media.